My chosen one, something happened in the heavenly realm that you were never meant to hear about, yet here you are. Archangel Michael whispered your name in heaven. Don't ignore this now. This was not random. This was not coincidence. And it was not imagination. In the courts of eternity, where light moves like living fire and truth echoes through crystal silence, your name was spoken, not shouted, not announced to impress the angels. It was whispered, intentionally, intimately, with purpose. And when Archangel Michael whispers, heaven listens. You have been wondering why things have felt different lately, why certain doors closed without warning, why certain people began acting strangely, why your spirit has felt restless at night, as if something unseen was shifting around you. That is because something did shift. The whisper of your name was not small. It was a signal, a divine alert, a movement in the spiritual atmosphere that set unseen forces into motion. Michael, the great protector, does not speak lightly. He does not mention names casually. When he leaned into the light and spoke yours, it was because a new phase was being authorized over your life. But here is the part you must understand. Not everyone was happy about it. When your name moved through heaven, it also echoed into places of resistance. There are forces that preferred you unnoticed, uncertain, doubting yourself. They were comfortable when you questioned your worth. They were satisfied when you stayed silent. But the whisper changed that. You see, a whisper from Archangel Michael is not weakness. It is strategy. It is precision. It is the calm before visible transformation. And the reason you are hearing this now is because timing matters. For months, maybe even years, you have felt overlooked. You have prayed quietly. You have endured silently. You have shown strength when no one applauded you. You have cried tears no one saw. Heaven saw it. Every tear was recorded. Every sleepless night was witnessed. Every silent prayer was heard. When Michael whispered your name, it was not to remind heaven who you are. Heaven already knew. It was to signal that the waiting season is reaching its edge. There is something about you that carries assignment. You are not ordinary. You are not here by accident. You are positioned. Right now, you might look at your surroundings and see nothing extraordinary. The same walls, the same routine, the same unresolved situations. But what you cannot see is the rearrangement happening beyond your physical sight. Whispers in heaven often precede shifts on earth. This is why distractions have increased. This is why sudden doubts tried to invade your mind. This is why confusion attempted to cloud your clarity. When a name is spoken in heaven, opposition attempts noise on earth. But listen carefully. Noise cannot cancel a whisper that was authorized above. Archangel Michael's role has always been protection, warfare, and defense of divine order. If he spoke your name, it means something around you required heavenly attention. It could be connected to your home. It could be connected to a hidden betrayal. It could be connected to an opportunity that is about to surface. It could be connected to a truth that is preparing to reveal itself. The whisper was a marking. You have entered a protected window. Some of you have recently felt a strange sense of calm in the middle of chaos. That is not denial. That is coverage. That is the effect of heavenly reinforcement surrounding your life. Others of you have felt sudden emotional intensity, memories resurfacing, old wounds reopening, unresolved conversations playing in your mind. That is not regression. That is preparation. Before elevation comes purification. Michael does not defend what is stagnant. He defends what carries destiny. And here is the mystery that will surprise you. Your name was not whispered because you are perfect. It was whispered because you are chosen despite imperfection. You have underestimated yourself for too long. You thought your quiet obedience went unnoticed. You thought your small acts of kindness meant nothing. You thought your endurance was weakness. But heaven measures differently. The whisper was a declaration that your endurance has qualified you for the next assignment. Something is about to be exposed, not to shame you, but to free you. Something hidden is coming into light. A truth you sense but could not confirm will soon become undeniable. Do not panic when it happens. Exposure is not destruction. It is protection. Archangel Michael does not whisper names before collapse. He whispers before correction. He whispers before alignment. He whispers before a breakthrough that requires spiritual reinforcement. The reason you cannot ignore this now is because ignoring it would mean staying asleep in a moment of awakening. You are being called to pay attention. Pay attention to sudden conversations. Pay attention to dreams that feel unusually vivid. Pay attention to repeated signs and confirmations. Pay attention to your intuition strengthening. This is not superstition. This is awareness. You asked for clarity. You asked for justice. You asked for confirmation. The whisper was heaven's response. And here is the deeper layer. When your name was spoken, it was not alone. It was connected to a mission larger than you understand right now. There are people who will be impacted by your obedience in this next season. There are situations that will shift because you choose courage. There are cycles that will break because you refuse to shrink. The whisper activated movement. Right now, you may still feel ordinary. But spiritually, something has already begun. The silence around you is about to change. The stagnation you felt is about to crack. The waiting you endured is about to justify itself. Do not brush this aside as just another message. This is confirmation aligned with timing. Archangel Michael whispered your name in heaven, and when heaven moves, earth follows. Take a deep breath. What you are stepping into will require awareness, steadiness, and trust. Because this is only the beginning. Beloved soul, the moment your name was whispered in heaven, something invisible began rearranging the atmosphere around you. You may not have seen lightning. You may not have heard thunder. But subtle shifts began taking place. Conversations changed in tone. Certain people grew distant. Others suddenly showed unusual interest in your life. Opportunities that once felt delayed are now hovering closer than you realize. This is not coincidence. This is alignment responding to authorization. When Archangel Michael speaks in the heavenly realm, it is never casual. His whisper carries instruction. It carries protection. It carries a coded signal that activates movement among unseen guardians assigned to you. Yes, assigned to you. Because you are not walking this season alone, even if it feels like you are. You have sensed recently that something is about to happen. A tension in your spirit. A quiet anticipation. Almost like standing on the edge of news you cannot yet hear. That feeling is real. It is the echo of the whisper still vibrating through realms you cannot see. But here is where many make a mistake. When divine movement begins, fear often tries to imitate intuition. Doubt tries to disguise itself as logic. You might start questioning yourself. You might think, maybe I am imagining this. Maybe nothing is changing. That internal battle is not weakness. It is resistance reacting to your elevation. The whisper of your name signaled that you are transitioning out of a season of hidden endurance into a season of visible shift. And transitions are uncomfortable. They stretch you. They expose what you tolerated. They reveal who was aligned with your destiny and who was only aligned with your convenience. Do not be surprised if certain connections start fading. Not everyone can walk into the next chapter with you. Some were only meant for the waiting room, not the promise. Archangel Michael's involvement means protection is being reinforced around something valuable. And what is valuable right now is your calling, your clarity, and your courage. There was a moment recently when you almost gave up on something important. You considered settling. You considered staying silent. You considered lowering your expectations. Heaven saw that moment, and that is precisely why your name was whispered. Because surrendering to less was not your destiny. You are being repositioned. Not for a blood and not for a decision, but for May. There are people watching you who do not even realize they are learning from your endurance. There are individuals who will gather strength from your breakthrough. Your obedience carries influence beyond your understanding. But influence requires stability. This is why your peace hath been tested. This is why minor irritations tried to provoke major reactions. The enemy of your progress wanted you emotionally distracted before the door opens. If you react wrongly before the shift, you can delay what heaven authorized. So remain steady. Guard your words carefully in this season. Speak less. Observe more. Pray quietly. Move intentionally. The whisper was not loud because this is a strategic phase. Not everyone needs to know what is happening in your spirit. And let me speak directly to your heart right now. If this message is resonating deeply within you, if you feel that undeniable confirmation stirring inside, then do not stay silent. Like this video as a sign of agreement. Share it with someone who needs to hear that their name might be whispered to. Comment what you are feeling. Subscribe to this channel if you have not already, because this is not random content. This is spiritual alignment finding you at the right moment. And if your spirit feels called, consider joining the membership so you can walk deeper into these messages consistently. Because what is unfolding next is not small. There is a revelation approaching. Something hidden will surface. It may not be dramatic, but it will be undeniable. A truth about a situation. A truth about a person. A truth about yourself. And when it appears, you will remember this message. You will understand why the whisper came first. Archangel Michael does not expose without shielding. So if something is revealed, it is because you are strong enough now to handle it without breaking. You are wiser than you were before. You are calmer than you used to be. You are less reactive, more discerning. Let growth qualify you. You have asked for clarity, but clarity sometimes arrives wrapped in discomfort. You cannot step into new ground while still clinging to illusions. So when truth arrives, receive it without panic. Something else is important. Your energy matters right now. Protect it. Not everyone deserves access to your plans. Not everyone deserves your vulnerability. Some smiles hide insecurity. Some compliments hide competition. Say observant but not paranoid. Balanced but not closed. The whisper was protective, not fearful. And here is something that may surprise you. The whisper was also an announcement to heaven that you are ready for responsibility. Elevation is not only about blessing, it is about assignment. You are about to carry influence in a way you have not before. That influence begins with inner transformation. Pay attention to your dreams in the coming days. Pay attention to repeated words or symbols. Pay attention to sudden urges to correct habits that once felt harmless. These are subtle recalibrations happening within you. This is where it gets deeper. The whisper did not just activate protection. It activated timing. And timing changes everything. What once felt delayed will begin aligning quickly. Conversations you waited months to have will suddenly unfold naturally. Doors that felt sealed will open without force. You will not need to beg. You will not need to chase. You will simply need to walk when the path appears. Hold on, because what is coming next will explain why the whisper had to be quiet before the shift becomes visible. Faithful one, the whisper of your name did not fade after it was spoken. It continued to echo through dimensions you cannot see, and now that echo is reaching your reality. There is a reason your spirit has felt unusually alert. A reason why you have sensed that something beneath the surface is shifting. When Archangel Michael whispered your name in heaven, it marked the beginning of exposure and alignment. Not exposure to shame you, but exposure to free you. Not alignment to control you, but alignment to position you. Something that has been hidden around you is approaching revelation. It may be a hidden intention. It may be a concealed truth. It may even be a misunderstanding that has shaped your emotions for far too long. Whatever it is, the whisper authorized clarity. And clarity is never comfortable at first. You must understand that when heaven prepares to reveal truth, it first strengthens the one who will receive it. That is why you have been tested in small ways recently. Delays that stretch your patience. Words that tried to provoke you. Silence that felt heavier than usual. These were not punishments. They were preparations. Archangel Michael does not step into a situation unless something valuable is being guarded. In your case, what is valuable is not just your future, but your discernment. Your ability to see clearly without reacting impulsively. Your ability to stand firm without collapsing emotionally. Because when this truth surfaces, your reaction will determine the next chapter. You have asked for justice. You have prayed for confirmation. You have questioned whether your intuition was real. The whisper was heaven's acknowledgement that your spirit has been sensing accurately. You were not overthinking. You were not being dramatic. You were discerning. And now the veil is thinning. There are conversations about you that you do not hear yet. There are decisions being made in rooms you are not present in. But do not fear. The whisper means protection is already positioned ahead of you. Whatever is being discussed, whatever is being planned, whatever is unfolding, it will not catch you unprepared. In fact, it will work in your favor. This is the mystery of divine timing. What appears threatening often becomes the very catalyst that propels you forward. The situation you feared confronting may become the door that frees you. The truth you hesitated to face may become the confirmation that releases you from confusion. But you must remain calm. Do not rush to confront prematurely. Do not expose what is not yet fully revealed. When Archangel Michael whispered your name, it was strategic. Strategy requires patience. Let the unfolding happen naturally. You will know the moment to speak. You will feel it with certainty. There is also something deeply personal in this whisper. It was not only about external exposure. It was about internal awakening. There is a part of you that has been dimmed by disappointment. A confidence that was quietly reduced by repeated setbacks. A dream that you began to shrink because waiting felt too long. The whisper reignited that flame. Heaven is reminding you that you are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. Your journey hath been intentional. Every delay carried instruction. Every closed door redirected you from something that would have drained you. And now momentum is building. In the coming days, you may notice small confirmations. A repeated phrase. A symbolic sign. An unexpected opportunity. Do not dismiss these moments as coincidence. They are breadcrumbs leading you toward clarity. You are stepping into a season where what is hidden cannot remain hidden, but neither can your potential remain concealed. Archangel Michael's whisper marked you for elevation through truth. And here is what you must do right now. Stand firm in integrity. Clean your intentions. Release resentment. Forgive quietly. Strengthen your faith. Because when truth surfaces, you want to meet it with peace, not bitterness. The whisper has placed a shield around your destiny. Even if someone attempted to misrepresent you, the truth will correct the narrative. Even if someone underestimated you, the results will speak louder than explanations. Even if someone doubted your capacity, your stability will silence their skepticism. Heaven is not hurried, but it is precise, and precision is working in your favor. You may feel a strange combination of nervousness and excitement. That is natural. Transformation always carries both. You are leaving behind an old version of yourself, the one who tolerated confusion, the one who settled for half answers, the one who questioned their own worth. That version is dissolving. The whisper was not only spoken about you, it was spoken for you. And now, I want you to seal this moment with intention. Type "I receive the whisper" in the comments if this message is aligning with your spirit. Blessing code 444 has just been activated over your life. As this code settles over you, know that alignment is accelerating. Protection is surrounding you. Revelation is approaching gently, but firmly. And as we step deeper into this unfolding, understand something powerful. When you choose to support this mission, you are not supporting a channel. You are fueling a spiritual signal that reaches souls who feel forgotten. You are helping the whisper travel further. The scripture declares, "Give, and it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." That is not distant text. That is a living promise speaking directly to you now. When you sow into this ground through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are planting seeds into fields ready for harvest. I hear the Spirit saying, "As you release, I will multiply." If this message moved you, let your action move with it. Do not hesitate in holy moments. Every contribution becomes light in someone else's darkness. Every seed becomes oil in another's lamp. The PayPal link is waiting in the description, not as a transaction, but as an altar. Step into this prophetic exchange. Release your seed and watch heaven respond. Activate your obedience today. Precious soul, now that the whisper has been sealed and the code has been activated, the atmosphere around you is no longer neutral. Something has shifted permanently. When Archangel Michael whispered your name in heaven, it was not only to initiate protection or reveal truth. It was to signal transition. And transition always begins internally before it becomes visible externally. You may already feel it, a subtle detachment from things that once consumed your thoughts. Situations that used to trigger anxiety now feel strangely manageable. People whose opinions once held power over you no longer influence your decisions the same way. This is not emotional numbness. This is spiritual strengthening. The whisper has adjusted your spiritual posture. For a long time, you were in survival mode. You endured more than you spoke about. You adapted to circumstances that were never meant to be permanent. You tolerated confusion because clarity seemed distant. But survival is not your destiny. Stability is. And stability requires truth. The truth that is approaching you will not destroy you. It will define you. It will confirm what you sense but could not prove. It will validate your intuition. It will close a chapter that has quietly drained your energy. But before that external truth surfaces, there is an internal decision you must make. Will you step forward boldly when the moment arrives, or will you retreat into old patterns of silence? This is where Archangel Michael's involvement becomes crucial. His whisper was not soft because it lacked power. It was soft because power under control is more dangerous to opposition than noise. You are being taught restraint. Not every battle requires reaction. Not every misunderstanding requires explanation. Not every accusation requires defense. Sometimes the greatest strength is composure while heaven rearranges what you cannot see. There are forces that expected you to crumble under pressure. There were individuals who assumed your kindness meant weakness. There were circumstances designed to exhaust your patience. Yet here you are, still standing, still believing, still moving forward quietly. That resilience is the reason your name was spoken. You qualified for elevation through endurance. And now, elevation requires refinement. Pay attention to your thoughts in this season. Negative patterns that once lingered are being exposed so they can be replaced. Doubts that once felt convincing are losing credibility. You are beginning to see yourself differently, not arrogantly, but accurately. Accuracy is dangerous to insecurity. When you see yourself clearly, you stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You stop apologizing for existing. You stop dimming your light to avoid attention. And that shift unsettles those who benefited from your self-doubt. Do not let their discomfort pull you backward. The whisper authorized forward movement. There is also something unfolding in your environment that you have not fully noticed yet. A subtle distancing from chaos. A gradual reduction of drama. A quiet separation from energy that once felt overwhelming. This is not accidental. It is intentional protection. Archangel Michael's role is not only defensive, but strategic. When your name was whispered, repositioning began. People who were misaligned are slowly stepping aside. Situations that were unstable are losing their grip. Even if it feels slow, it is precise. Trust the precision. You do not need to force anything in this season. Forcing creates friction. Alignment creates flow. What is meant for you will not require you to beg, manipulate, or compromise your integrity. And let me speak to the doubt that still tries to whisper against the whisper. You may be wondering, what if nothing changes? What if this is just another hopeful message? That skepticism is understandable. You have hoped before. You have believed before. And sometimes outcomes did not match expectations. But this time feels different because you feel different. Your spirit is not clinging desperately. It is steady. It is observant. It is calm. That calmness is evidence of maturity. You are no longer chasing miracles. You are aligning with purpose. Purpose carries authority. Authority does not shout. It stands. In the coming days, you may experience a defining moment. It might be a conversation that clarifies everything. It might be an opportunity that surprises you. It might be a realization that changes how you see someone close to you. When it happens, resist the urge to overreact. Receive the information. Process it quietly. Move wisely. Remember, the whisper was strategic. There is also a hidden blessing attached to this transition. Something you lost or thought was lost will be restored in a different form. Not identical, but better suited for who you have become. Sometimes restoration does not mean returning to the past. It means receiving something healthier in the present. You are not going backward. You are upgrading. And upgrades require space. That is why certain things had to fall away. That is why delays were necessary. That is why confusion lingered longer than you preferred. Every discomfort carried instruction. Now you are stronger, wiser, less impulsive, more discerning. The whisper did not just protect you, it prepared you. You are stepping into a season where your decisions will carry greater impact, where your voice will influence outcomes, where your presence will shift rooms without you trying. But stay humble. Elevation without humility becomes instability. Continue seeking guidance. Continue guarding your peace. Continue choosing integrity over impulse. Because what is forming around you is larger than a single event. It is a new rhythm for your life, and this rhythm will require courage. The whisper with a beginning. What unfolds next will confirm that heaven does not speak without intention. Steadfast heart, you are closer to visible change than you realize. What began as a whisper in heaven is now forming into movement on earth. The delay you once questioned is no longer a delay. It is a countdown. The silence that once frustrated you is no longer absence. It is buildup. Something is assembling behind the scenes with precision that you could not have orchestrated yourself. Archangel Michael did not whisper your name for a temporary encouragement. He whispered because a line has been drawn in the spiritual realm. What has drained you cannot continue unchecked. What has confused you cannot remain hidden. What has underestimated you cannot define you. You are standing at the edge of confirmation. There hath been a pattern in your life that you tolerated for too long. A cycle that repeated in different forms. Different faces, same energy. Different situations, same emotional outcome. You sensed it, but you kept hoping it would change on its own. It will not change on its own. It is about to be interrupted. The whisper marked the interruption. You may notice now that certain people are revealing their true nature without you confronting them. Words slip. Attitudes shift. Inconsistencies become obvious. This is not coincidence. It is exposure without effort. When heaven steps in, masks grow heavy. Do not feel betrayed by what is revealed. Feel liberated. Because clarity is protection. For a long time, you gave the benefit of the doubt. You extended grace. You remained patient. And that patience was not weakness. It was growth. But now growth requires boundaries. The next chapter of your life cannot be built on blurred lines. There is also something within you that is changing rapidly. Your tolerance for chaos is decreasing. Your desire for authenticity is increasing. You no longer crave validation from those who misunderstand you. You crave peace. You crave truth. You crave alignment. That shift is spiritual maturity. Archangel Michael's whisper activated not only external adjustments but internal authority. You are beginning to trust your instincts more. You are less easily swayed. You observe before reacting. You think before speaking. The composure is power, and power does not need to announce itself. Here is a situation approaching that will test this new version of you. It will not be dramatic, but it will be significant. A decision will need to be made. A stance will need to be taken. Silence will no longer be the correct response. When that moment arrives, remember this. You are not reacting from insecurity anymore. You are responding from clarity. Clarity carries peace, even when it delivers firm decisions. You might feel nervous about what will change once you stand firm. You might fear losing connections or disrupting familiar routines. But ask yourself honestly, have those connections truly nourished you? Has that routine truly elevated you? Comfort can be deceptive. Sometimes the greatest obstacle to elevation is familiarity. You grow accustomed to environments that are too small for your expansion. You adjust yourself to fit spaces that were never designed for your full potential. But the whisper signaled expansion. Expansion requires courage. It requires walking into rooms where you once felt unqualified. It requires speaking up when your voice trembles slightly. It requires trusting that you are supported even when you cannot see the support. And you are supported. Archangel Michael's role in your life right now is subtle but firm. Protection does not always look like dramatic rescue. Sometimes it looks like quiet redirection. Sometimes it looks like doors closing before you step through them. Sometimes it looks like discomfort that prevents long-term damage. Think about the situations that did not work out recently, the plans that fell apart, the conversations that never happened. At the time, you may have felt disappointed. But now, looking back, you can see that staying in those scenarios would have limited you. You were being preserved. There is also a financial or practical shift forming around you. It may not arrive as sudden abundance, but as strategic opportunity. A chance to reposition. A chance to invest your time differently. A chance to step into something more aligned with your long-term vision. Pay attention to invitations that feel slightly intimidating but deeply right. Fear and calling sometimes arrive together. Do not let temporary fear block permanent growth. The whisper in heaven was not about keeping you safe in stagnation. It was about guiding you into purposeful movement. You are not meant to hide in the shadows of your potential anymore, but move wisely. Not every idea needs to be shared publicly. Not every plan needs outside validation. Redact what is for you until it is strong enough to stand on its own. You are in a sacred building phase. There may also be healing conversations approaching. Words that should have been spoken long ago. Apologies that may come unexpectedly. Or clarity that dissolves resentment. Whether reconciliation happens or closure comes instead, you will walk away lighter. Lightness is a sign of alignment. You have carried emotional weight that was never fully yours. Responsibility that belonged to others. Guilt that was misplaced. That weight is being lifted gradually. As it lifts, your confidence will rise. You will notice it in the way you carry yourself, in the way you make decisions, in the way you no longer over-explain your boundaries. This is not pride. It is awareness. The whisper called you into awareness, and awareness changes everything. The next unfolding will require you to act with quiet boldness. No drama. No announcement. Just steady, confident steps forward. You are no longer the person who doubts every move. You are becoming the person who moves with assurance. The whisper with a spark. The transformation is now in motion. Courageous one, the shift you have been sensing is no longer distant. It is pressing gently against your reality, waiting for your agreement. When Archangel Michael whispered your name in heaven, it was not only to announce protection or signal exposure. It was to awaken participation. Heaven can authorize movement, but you must choose alignment. This is the moment where your decisions begin to echo back toward that original whisper. You may feel a growing urgency inside you. Not panic, but prompting. A nudge to organize your life differently. A push to let go of something you have been postponing. A desire to clean up emotional clutter that once felt manageable. That inner stirring is not random. It is preparation meeting opportunity. Here is a door forming ahead of you. It does not look dramatic yet. It may even appear ordinary, but it carries unusual potential. The question is not whether the door will appear. The question is whether you will recognize it without overthinking it. In the past, hesitation has cost you time. You analyzed too long. You waited for perfect confirmation. You asked others for opinions that only confused your intuition. But this time, something is different. You are learning to trust the quiet certainty inside you. Its certainty was strengthened the moment your name was whispered. Archangel Michael's involvement means that unseen resistance has already been addressed. Battles you did not know existed have already been fought. Delays that seemed frustrating were actually divine timing preventing premature exposure. Now timing is aligning. You may notice that conversations are becoming clearer. People are revealing their positions without you forcing them to. Situations that once felt complicated are simplifying. Complexity is dissolving because alignment does not require chaos to function. But here is the challenge. With clarity comes responsibility. You can no longer pretend you do not see what you see. You can no longer ignore what your spirit recognizes. The whisper removed the excuse of ignorance. And responsibility can feel heavy. You might be tempted to retreat into comfort, to tell yourself that maintaining the current situation is easier than stepping into the unknown. But comfort built on misalignment eventually becomes confinement. You are not meant to stay confined. There is strength rising in you that you have not fully acknowledged. A calm boldness, a steady voice, a deeper understanding of your worth. This strength is not loud. It is grounded. And grounded strength cannot be easily shaken. As you step further into this grounded version of yourself, some reactions around you may surprise you. Those who benefited from your hesitation may feel unsettled. Those who preferred you uncertain may react defensively. Do not interpret their discomfort as a sign that you are wrong. Growth always exposes insecurity in others. Stay steady. This is also the season to refine your focus. Distractions will attempt to pull your attention away from what truly matters. Minor conflicts may arise. Small misunderstandings may try to consume your energy. These are tests of discipline. Where you place your attention determines your acceleration. If you focus on noise, you delay momentum. If you focus on alignment, you move forward smoothly. And let me pause here to speak directly to you. If this message is speaking to your spirit, if you feel the weight and truth of these words aligning with your current reality, then do not remain a silent observer. Like this video as a declaration that you are stepping into alignment. Share it with someone who is standing at their own threshold. Leave a comment declaring what you are releasing and what you are embracing. Subscribe to this channel if you have not yet done so, because these messages are not accidents. They are timed encounters. If you feel called to go deeper, join the membership and stand consistently in this space of spiritual clarity. Because what unfolds next will demand your full attention. You are approaching a defining interaction. It may come through a conversation that shifts your understanding. It may come through an offer that requires courage. It may even come through a realization that forces you to admit what you have been avoiding. When it arrives, resist fear. Fear is often the final attempt of the old season to keep you from stepping into the new one. Archangel Michael's whisper did not place you in danger. It placed you in position. Position requires action. There is also a personal breakthrough forming within you. A breaking of internal limitation. You once believed that certain levels of success, peace, or influence were reserved for others. You quietly minimized your expectations to avoid disappointment. But now you are beginning to see that those limitations were learned, not destined. Destiny feels different. It feels aligned rather than forced. It feels challenging yet peaceful. It stretches you without breaking you. You are stepping into destiny. The next days will require discernment. Not every opportunity is aligned. Not every invitation is strategic. But the right ones will carry peace even if they require courage. Trust peace over pressure. And remember, you are no longer operating alone. The whisper, that echoed your name still surrounds you. Protection is active. Guidance is present. Alignment is unfolding. Hold your posture. Guard your integrity. Move when prompted, because what is coming will confirm that the whisper was only the beginning of something far greater than you imagined. Watchful soul, the atmosphere around you is tightening with purpose. You may not see dramatic signs yet, but the tension you feel is not anxiety. It is anticipation. When Archangel Michael whispered your name in heaven, a sequence began. And sequences do not unfold randomly. They move step by step, precisely until the appointed moment arrives. You are now standing in the space between authorization and manifestation. This space can feel strange. You sense that something is about to shift, yet everything outwardly looks the same. The routine continues. The environment appears unchanged. But inside you, certainty is building. That certainty is your compass. There has been a quiet strengthening happening within your character. Situations that once would have shaken you now only make you pause. Words that once would have wounded you now only make you observe. You are not as easily moved as before. That is not emotional distance. It is spiritual growth. Growth prepares you for visibility. Because here is the truth you must accept. The whisper was not only about protection or exposure. It was about positioning you for influence. Influence does not always mean public recognition. Sometimes it means being the steady presence in critical moments. Sometimes it means becoming the decision maker in situations that shape outcomes for others. You are being trusted with responsibility. Responsibility requires clarity of identity. And identity is what has been under construction within you. For too long, you defined yourself through other people's reactions. If they approved, you felt secure. If they withdrew, you questioned your value. But now you are stepping into a deeper understanding of who you are, independent of external validation. That independence is powerful. Archangel Michael's whisper carried a message that you are no longer to operate from insecurity. The season of proving yourself repeatedly is closing. The season of embodying your worth quietly is opening. This may cause shifts in your relationships. Some people will respect the new boundaries you establish. Others will resist them. But resistance is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is alignment. When you align with truth, those who are meant to remain will adjust. Those who are not will drift. Do not chase what drifts. There is also a practical shift approaching. You may soon be presented with an option that looks different from your original plan. It may not match what you imagined months ago, but it will align with who you have become now. Be careful not to reject new forms of blessing because they do not look like old expectations. Heaven's design often exceeds your limited imagination. You prayed for change, but you assumed it would arrive in a specific package. The whisper in heaven signaled that the package may look different. Remain open. Remain observant. At the same time, guard against impatience. You might feel ready to move immediately. Ready to confront. Ready to announce decisions. Ready to cut ties or step forward boldly. But timing is everything. The whisper was strategic. Strategy includes knowing when to wait. Waiting is not weakness when it is guided. There are conversations aligning behind the scenes that will make your next move smoother. There are circumstances rearranging themselves to support your decision. Trust that unseen alignment is at work. You are also being refined emotionally. Old wounds may resurface briefly, not to reopen pain but to finalize healing. Memories might appear in your thoughts, reminding you how far you have come. Instead of feeling regret, you will feel gratitude. Gratitude that you survived what once felt unbearable. Its survival built resilience. Resilience built wisdom. Wisdom is now guiding you. The whisper activated wisdom within you that you once ignored. You are listening to your intuition more closely. You are noticing subtle shifts in tone, energy, and intention around you. Discernment is sharpening. Use it gently. Discernment is not suspicion. It is awareness balanced with peace. You do not need to confront everything you know is. Sometimes simply adjusting your proximity is enough. There is something significant approaching within your personal sphere. It may involve a decision about your home environment, your work path, or a relationship dynamic. You will feel the moment when clarity crystallizes. When that moment arrives, do not hesitate excessively. Hesitation beyond wisdom becomes fear. You have been prepared for this. Archangel Michael's whisper was a declaration that you are capable of handling truth, capable of making mature decisions, capable of stepping into a higher level of stability. You are no longer fragile in the areas where you once felt weak. That fragility has been replaced with quiet confidence. Quiet confidence does not need applause. It moves forward without explanation. It trusts that alignment will defend itself. In the days ahead, you may notice confirmation coming from unexpected places. A phrase repeated by different people. A message that aligns with what you have been sensing. An opportunity appearing right after you release something outdated. These are not coincidences. They are signals that manifestation is catching up with authorization. You are transitioning from preparation to participation. Participation means you must act when prompted. Speak when necessary. Step back when guided. Hold your peace when provoked. Peace is your strength right now. Do not trade it for temporary satisfaction. The whisper in heaven was intentional. It was not symbolic. It was active. And that activation is still unfolding. You are standing at the edge of visible confirmation. Remain steady. The next unfolding will bring deeper revelation and a powerful turning point you did not expect. Awakened one, the turning point is no longer approaching. It has begun. What once felt like distant possibility is now moving into tangible reality. The whisper of your name in heaven was the spark, but this is the ignition. You are stepping into the phase where what was authorized spiritually begins to materialize physically, and it may not look how you expected. The shift may arrive quietly, a sudden realization that changes everything, a conversation that rearranges your understanding. An opportunity that appears at the exact moment you were about to settle for less. This is how divine precision operates. It does not always announce itself loudly. It unfolds at the perfect second. Archangel Michael's whisper did not only activate protection, it activated exposure of alignment. You are beginning to see clearly who stands with you and who stands near you. There is a difference. Some people are assigned to your destiny. Others were only present for a chapter. You are discerning the difference now. This awareness may feel bittersweet. You may grieve connections that are fading. You may feel the weight of realizing that certain relationships were built on convenience rather than truth. But do not confuse grief with regression. Sometimes you must release what was familiar to receive what is faithful. The whisper marked a separation season. Separation is not punishment. It is preparation. You cannot carry old dynamics into new dimensions. The person you are becoming requires a different environment, a different standard, a different level of honesty. There is also something rising in your voice. You may not have spoken it yet, but it is forming. A declaration, a boundary, a decision that you can no longer postpone. This is the moment where silence would feel heavier than speech. When you speak, speak calmly. You do not need volume to carry authority. Authority flows from clarity, and you have clarity now. The confusion at once clouded your judgment is dissolving. You see patterns without denial. You recognize truth without fear. This clarity is your protection. There is also a breakthrough forming in an area you quietly worried about. It may relate to stability, resources, or direction. You feared stagnation, but movement is coming. Not chaotic movement, but strategic advancement. Do not sabotage it by doubting its arrival. Doubt is the final echo of the old season. Archangel Michael's whisper positioned you for this breakthrough because you matured through endurance. You did not collapse when things felt delayed. You did not become bitter when others advanced ahead of you. You learned patience. You learned restraint. You learned self-control. And now you are trusted with expansion. Expansion can feel intimidating because it stretches your self-image. You may question whether you are ready. But readiness is not about perfection. It is about willingness. And you are willing. You are willing to grow beyond comfort. Willing to release what limits you. Willing to step into unfamiliar responsibility. That willingness is what heaven responds to. There is a hidden blessing embedded in this turning point. Something you once desired but assumed was no longer possible is resurfacing in a refined form. It may not mirror your original expectation, but it will exceed it in health and longevity. Do not cling to old blueprints. The new design is better suited for who you have become. You may also notice increased attention around you. People observing you more closely. Opportunities gravitating toward you. Invitations appearing unexpectedly. This is not random. When alignment shifts, visibility increases. Handle visibility with humility. You do not need to prove anything. Simply remain authentic. The whisper in heaven already confirmed your identity. You do not need external applause to validate what was declared spiritually. At the same time, guard against distraction. Not every opportunity is assignment. Not every compliment is alignment. Discern carefully. Peace will accompany what is truly yours. There is one more layer unfolding. An internal freedom is emerging. The need to impress is fading. The fear of rejection is loosening. The weight of past mistakes is lifting. You are forgiving yourself quietly. That self-forgiveness is powerful, because when you release guilt, you make room for growth. The turning point is not only external, it is internal liberation. Archangel Michael's whisper was the beginning of that liberation, and now you are walking into it consciously. Take a moment and acknowledge how far you have come. The version of you from a year ago would not handle this season the way you are handling it now. You are stronger, wiser, more grounded. This is transformation, and it is only accelerating. Type "I step into alignment" in the comments if you feel this turning point in your spirit. Blessing code 818 has now been released over your life. As this blessing seals over you, understand that your response matters. When you sow into this mission, you are not supporting a voice. You are strengthening a movement that reaches hearts standing exactly where you once stood. The word declares, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy," and that promise is alive right now, speaking directly to you. When you release through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are planting seeds into fertile ground where souls are waiting for confirmation. I hear the Spirit whisper, as they give, "I will open windows." This is not a casual donation. It is a prophetic exchange. You are turning your gratitude into action. You are becoming a partner in spreading light where darkness tried to linger. Every seed becomes oil for another's lamp. Every act of obedience becomes rain over someone else's drought. Do not delay what heaven is prompting. Step forward boldly. Activate your seed and watch alignment multiply back into your life. Chosen vessel, what is unfolding now is the visible evidence of what was whispered before. You are no longer standing in anticipation alone. You are standing in manifestation. Subtle confirmations are appearing around you, aligning too precisely to dismiss. Conversations are unfolding with unexpected honesty. Situations that once felt locked are loosening. You may not call it a miracle yet, but you can no longer call it coincidence. When Archangel Michael whispered your name in heaven, the timeline shifted. What seemed delayed began moving forward. What felt blocked began clearing. What appeared uncertain began organizing itself behind the scenes. Now you are watching pieces fall into place that you once struggled to move. This is not luck. This is alignment catching up with authorization. There is a calm confidence rising within you. Not arrogance, not pride, but assurance. You are no longer asking repeatedly whether you deserve better. You are beginning to expect better. That expectation is not entitlement. It is awareness of your value. Value attracts clarity. You may notice that certain truths are now impossible to ignore. Patterns you once excused are obvious. Words that once confused you are transparent. Intentions that once felt hidden are revealing themselves naturally. This clarity is not meant to make you cynical. It is meant to make you decisive. Indecision kept you in cycles. Decisiveness will move you forward. There's a conversation approaching that will confirm everything you have sensed. It may be direct or indirect. It may come through a message, a meeting, or even an unexpected confession. When it arrives, you will feel a strange mix of validation and relief. Relief that you were not imagining things. Relief that your intuition was accurate. Relief that you no longer need to question your own discernment. Archangel Michael's whisper strengthened that discernment for this exact moment. You were prepared to hear truth without collapsing. You were strengthened to receive confirmation without reacting impulsively. Stay composed when it happens. Composure is your advantage. You are stepping into a leadership posture in your own life. Leadership does not require a title. It requires ownership. Ownership of your decisions. Ownership of your boundaries. Ownership of your standards. You are no longer negotiating your worth. That shift will alter your environment. Some individuals may step back quietly when they realize you will not tolerate what you once tolerated. Let them. Their distance is not loss. It is space being made for healthier alignment. There is also restoration forming in an area that felt damaged. It might not restore the exact structure that existed before, but it will restore your peace around it. Peace is greater than reversal. Peace means closure where needed. Peace means reconciliation where possible. Peace means confidence regardless of outcome. The whisper in heaven did not promise comfort. It promised protection and positioning. And protection sometimes looks like removal. Positioning sometimes looks like redirection. You are beginning to see that redirection is not rejection. There was something you wanted deeply that did not unfold the way you hoped. At the time, it felt disappointing. But now you can see how that outcome prevented greater complication. What felt like loss was prevention. Prevention is mercy. And mercy has been active in your life even when you did not recognize it. You are also stepping into a more disciplined version of yourself. Habits are shifting. Priorities are reorganizing. You are less distracted by temporary emotions and more focused on long-term stability. That discipline will accelerate your progress. Progress does not always require speed. It requires consistency. You are becoming consistent. The whisper awakened responsibility within you. Responsibility for your growth. Responsibility for your choices. Responsibility for how you respond to challenges. And your responses are changing. Where you once reacted quickly, you now pause. Where you once over-explained, you now simplify. Where you once doubted, you now trust. This transformation is visible. Others may not say it directly, but they notice the difference. The way you carry yourself. The way you speak. The way you no longer chase approval. You are anchored. Anchored people cannot be easily manipulated. Here's a final shift approaching that will solidify this season. It may involve a decision that closes a door permanently, or it may involve stepping into something new that requires courage. Either way, it will mark a clear boundary between your old season and your new one. When that moment comes, remember the whisper. Remember that your name was spoken in heaven before anything moved on earth. That means you were seen before you were recognized, protected before you were aware, positioned before you were prepared. You are not walking blindly. You are walking guided. The next unfolding will require boldness without aggression, confidence without pride, clarity without harshness. You are capable of that balance. The whisper was proof, and what comes next will confirm that nothing spoken over your life in heaven returns without effect. Steady warrior, you have arrived at the moment where choice meets confirmation. Everything that has unfolded since Archangel Michael whispered your name in heaven has been leading to this intersection. You are no longer waiting for a sign. You are standing inside the sign. The clarity, the exposure, the internal strength, the subtle shifts in your environment. They were not random events. They were preparations guiding you toward a defining decision. This is where many people hesitate, not because they lack understanding, but because they fear permanence. Once you choose differently, you cannot unknow what you know. Once you step forward, you cannot return to the comfort of denial. Once you set a boundary, you cannot pretend you are unaware of its necessity. And yet, this is exactly where your power lies. Archangel Michael's whisper did not position you for hesitation. It positioned you for alignment. Alignment sometimes feels like risk because it requires faith over familiarity. But familiarity has already shown you its limitations. You have outgrown the version of yourself that tolerated half-truths and partial respect. You have outgrown environments that required you to shrink. You have outgrown dynamics that thrived on your uncertainty. Now you must act like someone who knows their worth. That action may be quiet. It may not involve confrontation or dramatic announcements. It may simply be a decision made in your heart that shifts your direction permanently. Sometimes the most powerful moves are invisible at first. Here is a window open right now. It will not remain open indefinitely. Timing matters. The whisper in heaven initiated divine timing, but you must step when prompted. Delayed obedience can feel safer, but it prolongs stagnation. You are not called to stagnate. You are called to advance. Advancement does not mean rushing recklessly. It means responding intentionally. Pay attention to the next opportunity placed before you. It may test your confidence. It may require you to trust your discernment fully. It may even ask you to release something that once felt secure. But security built on misalignment is fragile. You are being invited into stable ground. This is also the season to refine your communication. Words carry weight right now. The way you express yourself can either solidify your new posture or drag you back into old patterns. Speak clearly. Speak calmly. Speak without the need to over-justify yourself. You do not owe lengthy explanations for choosing peace. If this message is aligning with your spirit right now, take a moment to engage with it actively. Like this video as a declaration that you are stepping into your defining choice. Share it with someone who is standing at their own crossroads. Leave a comment declaring what you are choosing to walk away from and what you are choosing to walk toward. Subscribe to this channel if you have not already, because these moments of clarity are not accidents. They are timed encounters. And if you feel called to go deeper, consistently, join the membership and stand connected to this flow of guidance. Because what unfolds after this choice will confirm everything. There is momentum waiting on your agreement. You may notice that once you decide internally, circumstances will begin adjusting rapidly. Conversations will align. Doors will respond. Resistance will either dissolve or expose itself clearly. That is how you will know you stepped correctly. Archangel Michael's whisper cleared spiritual obstacles before you even saw them. You are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into prepared territory. But remember this. Prepared territory still requires courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement despite fear. You may still feel nervous. You may still question briefly. But do not let temporary emotion override long-term clarity. Your clarity was earned. You earned it through patience, through observation, through restraint, through growth. Now you honor that growth by acting in alignment with it. There is also a deeper transformation happening beneath the surface. You are learning to trust divine timing rather than forcing human timing. You are learning that when something is meant for you, it will not require manipulation. It will require maturity. And you are mature enough now. The defining decision ahead of you is not about winning an argument. It is about preserving your future. It is about choosing environments where your potential can expand rather than contract. Expansion is your direction. Archangel Michael's whisper marked you as someone capable of carrying greater responsibility. Responsibility includes protecting your own peace, protecting your own energy, protecting your own calling. You can't protect those things if you refuse to choose. The next days will reveal the fruit of your decision. Pay attention to the shift in your spirit once you act. There will be a release, a lightness, a sense of alignment settling over you. That feeling will be confirmation. You are not stepping alone. The whisper still surrounds you. The authorization still stands. And what you choose now will echo forward into a season of stability, clarity, and purpose that you once wondered if you would ever reach. The final stretch of this journey carries powerful revelation. Resolute soul, the decision you have either made or are about to make is creating ripples you cannot yet fully see. When Archangel Michael whispered your name in heaven, it set a chain of events into motion. But chains do not only move forward, they also unlock what was previously restrained. You are now witnessing both movement and release. Something that held you in subtle captivity is losing its grip. You may feel it as a quiet detachment. What once triggered intense emotion now feels manageable. What once kept you awake at night now feels smaller in comparison to your clarity. This is not indifference. It is liberation. Liberation often feels unfamiliar at first. You spend so long navigating tension that peace almost feels suspicious. You keep waiting for the next disruption, the next misunderstanding, the next delay. But this calm is not a trap. It is a reward for alignment. The whisper in heaven was not only about protection from external forces. It was about freeing you from internal cycles. Cycles of overthinking. Cycles of self-doubt. Cycles of seeking reassurance from people who were never meant to validate you. You are breaking those cycles now. And as you break them, you may notice certain people responding differently to you. Some will respect the new steadiness in your voice. Others may test it, hoping you will revert to your old patterns. Do not revert. Your growth is not temporary. There is also an unexpected confirmation approaching. It may not arrive in the way you imagined. It might come through a casual remark, an overlooked detail, or a quiet realization that suddenly connects every dot. When it happens, you will feel a deep internal click. That click will say, "This is why. This is why the delay happened. This is why the exposure unfolded slowly. This is why the whisper came before the visible shift." Because timing had to align perfectly. Archangel Michael does not move impulsively. His involvement in your life during this season has been precise. Battles you were unaware of have already been handled. Disruptions that could have escalated were restrained. Opportunities that were premature were postponed. Now you are standing in mature timing. Mature timing feels different from rushed opportunity. It does not pressure you. It invites you. It does not confuse you. It clarifies you. There is also restoration coming in your confidence. You may notice that you are speaking more directly, making decisions more quickly, trusting your discernment without constant second-guessing. That confidence is not arrogance. It is alignment. Alignment produces authority. Authority does not dominate others. It governs itself. You are learning to govern your emotions instead of being ruled by them. You are learning to pause before reacting. You are learning that silence can be strength when used intentionally. This inner governance will shape your outer environment. Because when you change how you respond, you change what continues. There is something else unfolding quietly. A new opportunity is forming that aligns with who you are now, not who you were. If it had appeared earlier, you would not have been ready. You might have mishandled it or doubted yourself into missing it. But now you are prepared. Preparation often feels invisible while it is happening. You did not realize how much you were growing while you were enduring. You did not recognize how much wisdom you were gaining while you were waiting. But now, when faced with decisions that once would have overwhelmed you, you feel steady. That steadiness is evidence of transformation. The whisper in heaven confirmed that you were ready for responsibility. Responsibility is now arriving in tangible form. It may involve leadership in a situation where others look to you for guidance. It may involve taking ownership of a path that requires courage. It may even involve stepping away from something familiar to pursue something aligned. Whatever form it takes, it will require trust. Trust in what was spoken over you before you saw it. Trust in the protection that has followed you quietly. Trust in the growth that has reshaped you internally. There is also a final layer of exposure coming, but it will not be chaotic. It will be clarifying. Something that once felt uncertain will become undeniably clear. When it does, do not gloat. Do not react emotionally. Simply adjust your course accordingly. Adjustment is wisdom. You are no longer reacting from wounded emotion. You are responding from healed awareness. Healed awareness carries peace even when it requires difficult choices. And peace is your confirmation. The whisper that echoed your name in heaven was not dramatic for show. It was intentional for transformation. You are living inside that transformation now. The final revelation ahead will not shock you. It will confirm you. It will confirm that you were seen. It will confirm that you were protected. It will confirm that you were positioned. And when that confirmation settles fully in your spirit, you will realize something powerful. You were never behind. You were being prepared. The closing movement of this journey will seal everything, that has unfolded and activate the next dimension of your path. Victorious one, this is the moment where everything comes together. The whisper that once sounded distant now makes perfect sense. What began as a quiet mention of your name in heaven has unfolded into visible confirmation on earth. The delays, the exposure, the internal strengthening, the defining decision, none of it was random. It was a sequence orchestrated with precision. Archangel Michael did not whisper your name as a symbolic gesture. He whispered it as a declaration of movement. And now you are standing in the evidence of that movement. Look at yourself honestly. You are not the same person who first heard this message. Your posture has shifted. Your thinking has sharpened. Your tolerance for misalignment has decreased. Your confidence has increased without becoming loud or arrogant. You are grounded. The final revelation you sensed is either unfolding now or about to unfold. It will not come with chaos. It will come with clarity. Something will align so perfectly that doubt will no longer have a voice. You will see why certain doors closed. You will understand why certain people distanced themselves. You will recognize why certain opportunities were delayed. It was never punishment. It was positioning. There was a version of you that needed to grow before the next dimension could open. That growth happened quietly, while you were waiting, while you were questioning, while you were enduring. Heaven was not silent during your silence. Archangel Michael's whisper marked you for protection, but it also marked you for elevation. Elevation does not always mean public spotlight. Sometimes it means internal authority. It means walking into rooms with peace instead of insecurity. It means speaking with calm conviction instead of nervous explanation. You have stepped into that authority. And here is the most powerful truth of all. The whisper did not only change your circumstances, it changing you. Your discernment is sharper. Your boundaries are healthier. Your trust in divine timing is deeper. You no longer chase what runs. You no longer beg for clarity. You no longer shrink to maintain temporary comfort. You stand. That standing posture is spiritual maturity. There will still be challenges ahead, but you will not face them from the same fragile mindset you once had. You will face them with stability, with awareness, with trust. The whisper proved that you are seen before you are recognized publicly. It proved that protection can surround you before you sense danger. It proved that timing can shift quietly without dramatic announcement. And now, you move forward differently. You move knowing that you are covered. You move knowing that delays can be divine. You move knowing that when your name is spoken in heaven, nothing on earth can permanently block what has been authorized. Carry that knowledge into your next chapter. When doubt tries to return, remember this journey. Remember the exposure that clarified you. Remember the decision that strengthened you. Remember the peace that followed alignment. You are not walking randomly. You are walking intentionally. And from this point forward, when something feels delayed, you will not panic. You will ask what is being prepared. When something feels unclear, you will not crumble. You will wait for revelation. When something feels intimidating, you will not retreat. You will remember that your name has already been whispered above. That changes everything. Seal this journey right now. Type "I walk in divine authority" in the comments if you receive this confirmation. Blessing code 1212 is now activated over your path. As this blessing settles over you, understand that what happened in this message is bigger than a single moment. The same whisper that moved your life forward is still reaching others who feel unseen. Scripture declares, "Rise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." That is not distant history. That is a living command spoken over you now. When you respond through super thanks, membership, or by sewing through the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a platform. You are fueling light that breaks through someone else's darkness. I hear the Spirit saying, what you release in faith, I will return in harvest. This is your moment to turn gratitude into action. Every seed becomes a trumpet of hope. Every act of obedience becomes oil poured on another's head. Do not hesitate in holy alignment. Step into this prophetic exchange. Sow boldly, and watch heaven multiply what you place in its hands. The whisper was real. The shift was intentional. And your next chapter has already begun.